Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for joining me. It's been a long time since I did a review, but thank you for joining us today. I am overjoyed to give you a review of this book here, God of Sense, Traditions of Nonsense by Sigby Tonstad. I will show you what it looks like on Amazon after I finish doing my review, but not to waste your time, let's go straight into it. Um, Absolutely loved this. Yeah, here we go. So I'm just going to share my PowerPoint right now so I can review this book. I've reviewed many books, but this book has been one of the most fantastic reads that I've done. First of all, just many thanks to Sigvi for this work, and I'd like to encourage everybody who knows me to buy this book. Okay, you won't regret your dollars, okay? You won't regret your dollars. Well, who's the author? Sigrid Tonstad is a doctor, he's a theologian. I don't know if he counts himself as a poet, but he certainly does practice. He does practice some poetry, so I guess we can call him that. So, he's not a minor theologian. When I say he's a scholar, maybe I shouldn't call him a theologian. Does Sigby consider himself a scholar or a theologian? Let's not waste time. He's a great man. The point is, he's actually well educated. He's a New Testament scholar. Is he a New Testament scholar? Are you a New Testament scholar? Let me read for you what it says here. Um, okay, he's a professor of biblical interpretation, right, at Loma Linda, California. He completed medical school and his residence of internal medicine at Loma Linda, a PhD in New Testament studies at the University of Andrews. And his PhD was on the book of Revelation, so that's pretty good. Um, and he's done a few other books, but fantastic. Here, there's at the back of the book, there's a few recommendations here. One from Milton Chair of Religion at Biola University. So you're certainly not dealing with a minor puncher here. Okay, he's not punching low; he's punching high. Okay, I don't know if Sigby is against violence, but yes, he's certainly punching very well in the theological arena. So let's let's not make. So we'll start with the bad news. Okay, I think it's better to just start with the bad news about this book. The bad news is you can't buy this book on Audible, okay, of which the future is audiobooks. The future is audiobooks. But I don't know if maybe there's a philosophical issue there. Maybe I don't know why Sigby doesn't have this book on Audible, okay, because this book deserves to be sold as an audiobook. There's too many people who would probably buy it. Maybe there isn't, but definitely I would buy another copy if I could get it, if I could get an audio copy. Maybe should we call it bad news? I don't know if it's actually bad news, but maybe I should have called it the sad news. The sad news about this book is there's no audio. Okay, there's no audio copy that you can buy. You're gonna have to do the old-fashioned reading, and I did that. It was worth my time. It was fantastic. Second thing is very scholarly, incredible. The bibliography on this is insane. Okay. Okay, the book ends on page 404. And then you get bibliography all the way. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see. Um, it's got about 20 pages of bibliography. It's insane. So it's pretty good. I thought that was amazing. But I was also said that there was, I don't know whether the book was written before Michael Heiser got famous or what, but I would have loved to see some interaction with the work of Michael Heiser and his divine council worldview and how he viewed Jesus as conquering the powers and calling the nations back to himself. So I would have loved to see that interaction with that literature there. But maybe it wasn't pertinent, or maybe it wasn't relevant um, given the way that the book was going. But I would have loved to see that interaction there. So yeah, so the sad news about it being a scholarly work, I don't know if an ordinary person will be able to interact with the work at the level at which he's at, of which I'm an ordinary person. So it was a bit slow for me. Okay, it was a bit slow for me. It required more thinking than I have, with my two brains over here in my head, I didn't have too much capacity to follow all the scholarly stuff, but absolutely enjoyed it. Great book. The most difficult part is if I wanted to translate this book into Ndebele or Shona, I couldn't. I couldn't. I don't know. That's not a comment on the quality of the book. That's a comment on the cultural gap between what the book is covering. And I'm thinking of my where I come from, my people, Zimbabwe, etc. I wonder if this is translatable. I can translate the concepts. I can tell you that I can translate the concepts. I can sit down with an audience and I can break down the concepts, like the principles underneath. I can show those principles and even some of the ideas and how he brings them out. But some of the historical stuff, I don't know if it would be relevant in a Zimbabwean context, which is sad, which is sad. Or maybe I should probably try and see if it can be done. This is the sad part of this book. Um, but it doesn't take away from it at all. It still retains it's 5 stars, maybe 4.9 because there's no Michael Heiser interaction. Maybe 4.9 just for that. All the other stuff, that's not there's no stain on the book. I tell you, there's no stain on the book. Right? Why you should read this book? You should read this book first of all for the amazing. There's people who know how to present things in this life. There's people who know how to present things. There's people who know how to write. Well, Sigve is one of those people who knows how to express himself very well, very clearly, and also how to express and capture the thoughts of others and to show them for what the person is saying. So it's very well done in that regard. Like when he's covering a certain like perspective, maybe talking about how certain views of God led people to then think that it was okay to speak very callously about the suffering of people in hell, and even to claim that people suffering in hell will be a source of joy for the righteous. And then, these sorts of things, he brings them out, thinks about them with you. He helps you to see this is not the right way to live. Not only does he show you that it's not the right way to think, as in to sort of say this is wrong, but then he goes from the theology to the practice, which results in terrible deeds and atrocities by Christians being done, or the justification of terrible deeds and atrocities in the name of God, because God can do anything and he's justified to do anything, and because he can do things however he wants because he's not accountable. So, and also we can never understand him. So these concepts of non-accountability, inscrutability on God's part, he shows that these things are then taken over and then may put into practice in things like the Holocaust, where people can now justify mistreating other people because it doesn't matter, or when John Calvin was voting with everybody else, or maybe more correctly, in my view, John Calvin, sorry, he instigated people being killed because that's what he believed it was right. Didn't even, blink an eye, and he thought it was a weakness to not be strong enough to kill people. Sort of. Anyway, that's sort of like the thought that you have there that's being expressed. But the point is, Sigve is moving from he's taking the theology and showing you where the theology leads in this life. Well, it doesn't take a genius to then, like, as a person from Zimbabwe, Africa, to then draw that line from, divine inscrutability, divine non-accountability, to then use that same framework, because those things would come up in my head to analyze the state of religion in Africa and some of the things that are done, people eating grass, drinking petrol, and these so-called, fathers of churches who are making lots of money at the expense of the poor. And the poor cannot ask a question because they have been told that God does not need to explain anything to anyone. And the more you can believe the ridiculous, the greater your faith and the more your reward, So this lack of accountability being put as a divine trait to be worshipped, in my view, doesn't only affect, theological practice, it also affects how politics is done. And so I see that as a very, very good point for anybody really who would like to explore how these things affect normal life. So yeah, so I've given my reasons there. Um, then the last thing right there right at the end here, just show you this is probably the best. This is probably the best thing about this. Why to read this book? This is the biggest reason to read this book, so that we can see the nature of how, if there is a God, if there's going to be a victory for God, it has to be this way. It has to be a moral victory. If God is just going to win like America, or if God is just going to win like like the Zimbabweans did over the Rhodesian government, if that's the way God is going to win, well, it's just another government. It's just another government. But if God wins the way Jesus wins, according to this book, then the victory will be forever. The victory will be forever. He will never be defeated. Okay. After that, because his victory is his victory is done with freedom. Is done with freedom and in freedom, in love, freedom, and truth. So that maybe there's no truth there. Maybe I think in Sigvi's book, I would say it's freedom, it's love, it's transparency, and I would guess maybe in a way he would be subsuming truth is maybe truth is contained in all the other three concepts. So let's just continue here and let's talk one more. I think I have one more slide to continue to take us through this book. Okay, so let's see if we can continue. Okay. Yeah, so the best part of this book, there are two things. The sensitivity, a very sensitive conscience to human suffering and how people can be made callous. There's that sensitivity that's there, especially I think for me, one of the best moments in the book is where we're talking about how Cain killed Abel. And it's quoting some Jewish, I think it's called in the Targum. It's some Jewish, let me see if I can find it here. No, let me not find it for you because I don't want to spoil it. But just that description of what happened in Cain's mind before he killed Abel, that is life. That's real life. We all have to decide what we see and believe in this life because it actually affects how we treat other people. So yeah, so I hope you stretch yourself. I hope you make your way to reading the book. Yeah. And then the second thing, most beautiful, absolutely magnificent. It was magnificent the way Sigvi captured the great controversy. Incredible. The way he captured the cosmic conflict and showed in a scholarly manner, in a biblical manner, how the Gospels and the entire even Paul is saturated in the apocalyptic. So in apocalyptic, not I don't know how I could say this, but with Revelation as the center of the apocalypse, the whole idea is that God is going to reveal himself. And the way he does it, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it's certainly worth your time. I will show cosmic conflict from Philippians chapter 2. Ah, man, just beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. even from the Gospels, um, it was well worth the time when he showed the cosmic conflict and comparing, to be able to compare the temptations and the crucifixion, and then to weave in, or maybe to build the two of those on top of the cosmic conflict which is happening in the Garden of Eden. So I am telling you guys, you need to read this book. You need to read this book. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe you don't have to, but maybe let me say, I enjoyed reading this book. I enjoyed reading this book. So yeah. So, but what if you don't have money? What if you can't buy the book? Okay. You can buy the book on Amazon. You can buy the book on Amazon, or at least watch one or two videos by Sigve Tonstad, on YouTube. You know, 9 times out of 10, you won't regret it. Okay. I haven't regretted it. Okay. So I'm just giving the -1 there in case you bump into something, because he's a human being, right? So you bump into something you might not like, but it's amazing stuff. And now I just want to show you what you can do on Pino. If you want to, you can watch or listen to something from Sigve here on Pino. So I'll show you here. There's one or two presentations by him here, where, like, just to understand what this book is all about. Okay. So maybe let's go back a little bit. Let me show you. So just type in here Pino. You don't necessarily have to type in Pino Sabbath School. Just go Pino, right? And what you want to do is go to pino.org and then click on there. Right. And then from there, what you want is you want to go to legacy. Okay. All audio resources. Let's see if we can get there. Want to go to all audio resources there. Right. And then here we want to go to all audio resources again, because the site is being upgraded. So it's a little bit difficult. And when you get here, just look in the middle here. If you can see my cursor, let me see if you can see this part. So this is where you want to keep your eye. Okay, keep your eye in this area. And you want to find Sigve Tonstad. Okay, that's who you want to find there. So just go down, scroll down, and let's see if I can find it. We were looking for God of Sense, Traditions of Nonsense. So this is just Sigve interacting with people when his book had just come out. Okay, right there. I hope you can see it right here. Okay. Right here. So can you see this part here? Right here. Okay, so you go there and then click on there. So you select that part. And then just as you can see the man there, then at least you can listen to a little bit of that. That's a good 3 hours worth of listening. And at least you can hear the thoughts, and maybe that might whet your appetite to getting the book. So in conclusion, this is of course you can look up a few more things on YouTube and all that. But I just hope you take time to read God of Sense, Traditions of Nonsense. Absolutely the future for us. Okay, it's absolutely the future. So hopefully, guys, you go out there, get the book, read it, and let me know what you think. If you've read the book, and then tell me what you think of the review that I've just done here. I tried not to put spoilers, okay? I tried not to put spoilers, but feel free to critique or ask questions. Thank you.